I have quit 2 six-figure jobs in the last few years, and this is the real reason I decided to just say, I'm doing it on my own. I worked for a large oil and gas company, and I had a team with me. We did health, safety, and environment. That's kind of my previous realm. And I had a teammate who was doing none of the work. I felt like I was handling all of it. I was getting discouraged. I was getting frustrated and bitter and annoyed. And one of the things that I've learned is you're either learning or you're earning. So in that case, I learned all the pieces that I could, and then it was just about earning. And I was working on making as much money as I could, was living kind of remotely. So that was the focus. But it got to the point where I was just so bitter with the entire thing and said, is this what I want to do for the next like 10, 20 years of my life? Is this where I want to be? Do I want to be doing this commute? It was like an hour commute on a bus that with the seats didn't recline. It was awful. And it was 10-hour days plus the 2 hours of commuting. So it was like 12-hour days, which was a lot. And it's just not sustainable for the life I wanted to live. And like, I wanted to have a family and all of these pieces. So I did all of the things that I could to like set up my team for success, saved all my SOPs, and then I wrote out my resignation letter. And I had a new boss who had just started, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe a month before. And I put on my like high heels and my professional outfit, and I walked into his office with this letter, and he just looked at me and he's like, oh God. So he knew that things were not going well. I don't think they ever think you're gonna quit, but I gave him the letter and I said, this is my 2 weeks, I'm done. And he was like, well, I'm really disappointed to hear that, blah, 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 like whatever. And so he had asked, is there anything that we can do like to have you stay? And so we had a discussion about some of the plans that I had previously with other managers were moving to a different location for work, like a different office essentially, and then doing some professional development. I wanted to go to grad school and have part of that paid for. There was some kind of advancement opportunities I wanted to pursue, including my pay grade. It was not appropriate, I felt, for what I was doing. I got thrown into a senior role, but hired and paid at a junior level. And was just doing so much more work than was necessary for what I was getting paid for, honestly. And so he spoke with another boss, whatever. They said, oh yeah, we'll take care of it. And I said, okay, you've got 2 weeks to get these things organized. And if not, like, I'm going to leave. And they were like, okay, yeah. So then 2 weeks goes by and the big boss calls me into his office. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And I heard you want to leave and blah, blah, blah. But like, we'll sort it out. And he literally wasn't even paying attention to me. Like, I was sitting in his office and I could see his computer screen had his like emails blasted up on like a TV on the wall. And so he's just emailing and being like, oh, it'll be fine. Like, you don't worry, blah, 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 and going. And it was like, he didn't get it. He didn't hear me. He wasn't making changes. None of the things that I asked them to do were done, or that we even agreed on doing were done. And so I just said, yeah, I've got one more day here and I'm done. Like, he's like, you can't leave. This is a good job. And I was like, this isn't what I want to be doing. And this isn't the lifestyle I want to be living. And I'm good at what I do, and I'll go do it somewhere else. And like, it was so ballsy for me to say that, and to say it to like my boss and then the big boss. But it was like the best thing that I've ever done. It led me to being back in Ontario, which was what I wanted. It gives me the flexibility to be with my kids, and my husband moved to Ontario. We both got good paying jobs now, and we built a family and this life, and it's just so much better than I think it would have been had I stayed in that role just for the money. And I was lucky at the time when I was in that role. I didn't have a house, I didn't have like car payments, I didn't have any of that. So there weren't like those golden handcuffs of, if you make a bunch of money and you're spending a bunch of money, you've got to continue making money so that you can maintain your lifestyle. So I was able to get out of there. I saved up money before I left, and I got a line of credit just in case I needed it. And I maxed out my benefits, and all of those pieces maxed out my vacation. And I quit, and I quit without another job. I just was like, I'm done. And I guess that's the luxury of not having kids or a family or major responsibilities, is that I could quit like that. But it was definitely the right move. It's led me to where I am now. And I would say, if you're in a situation where you're not being appreciated or not being paid for what you're doing, like if you're doing roles, other people's roles, or roles above your pay grade, or things outside of your job description, it's okay to say to your employer, hey, this is not what I signed up for. They're not gonna like get mad. It's part of their job to make sure that you're compensated fairly for the work that you're doing. So talk to them, say, here's the concern, here's what I'm feeling, can we work together to come up with a solution? Because there are other places that will pay you more and do the things they said they would do. So just keep that in mind if you're kind of feeling stuck or bitter in your circumstances, you're doing work and covering for your coworkers and they're not pulling their weight. There are other opportunities out there. So learn what you can, earn what you can, and then move on if you're not doing one of those two things.